What's up, warriors? I have some social media posts that I want to go through with you, and buckle up. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. We've got a few things, and I want to start off with this one. This is from my boy Ryan Mickler. Run hot. I'm going to go through a couple of these things today, and I sort of like run hot and cold with these guys. I heard Ryan Mickler speak at a Soronex Summer Strong like 5 or 6 years ago. And I was really into his message, like, and I still kind of am, but, and I don't want to pick on him personally, but what I want to do is look at some of these things that he posted and break them down, uh, because I think it's worth it. I think a lot of these, and this goes beyond just him. This is his post, but this goes beyond just him. And I want to get into some of these things today because there's a lot of stuff in the media and in the world with this, like, I mean, first off, this concept of toxic masculinity. I firmly believe there's no such thing really as toxic masculinity. I know there are people that would probably disagree, but what I believe is that there are actually toxic people. There are toxic traits, and by toxic I mean bad for your relationship with the world or with your relationship with other people, or you know being a dick. There are people like that. I don't think masculinity in general is to blame, and therefore this concept of toxic masculinity, this kind of made up thing, but it's up to interpretation, right? And I want to go through some of these things, so I wrote these down, and let's take a look at Ryan Mickler's post, 10 Harsh Masculine Truths. And they're harsh. And if you disagree with me at any point, please hit me in the comments and let me know how dumb I am. Or, yeah, whatever. So, this first one, everyone is replaceable, so are you. Stay on your game. I think it's I think it's helpful from a Stoic philosophy aspect, right? It's this reminder of our impermanence and our need to keep humility at our center, the memento mori, remember you must die principle. It pushes you to stay disciplined, sharpen your skills, and not take life for granted. But there's that toxic flip side of it, which can be sort of interpreted as no one matters, right? You can be replaced at any time. It can fuel detachment and cynicism, and kind of lead you down this lack of empathy towards everyone else, because if you're replaceable, then why should you care about other people? So a healthy approach would acknowledge your replaceability, but still value the connection and loyalty to the thing, right? So I think, yeah, ultimately helpful when it promotes humility and drive, right? But can be bad when it breeds like this concept of isolation and detachment, right? So the other one he has, number two, decisiveness is a trait most men lack. Exploit it. There were some comments on this one too about being confused. Um, so yeah, being decisive, it's a warrior virtue. We've talked about that. Ichigeki Isatsu in Kyokushin Karate and Masayama's, like one strike, one kill sort of approach to life. In Stoicism, proheresis, I said that right. Moral choice, right? So it defines your character, right? Acting with clarity and courage is essential to being a leader, right? So the ability to be decisive is based on the work that you've done up until the point where you've had to make a decision. I hope that makes sense. So if you want to be a decisive man, you need to work on yourself. You need to be introspective before the thing happens. It's kind of like therapy. I was talking with my wife the other day about this, and how most people will find therapy at the point in their life when they really need it, when there's a crisis, and not really uh, beforehand, not really to do the work before that crisis hits. And it's the same with health too, right? So the other side of this, exploit it. That can veer into this arrogance, right? Leading rather than manipulating is the stronger path, right? So exploit is sort of a manipulative term, right? So yeah, helpful when it encourages clarity, in personal clarity, right? But very bad if it's more about just dominating others. That's not really what being a warrior is about. Number three, life gets harder for everyone. The only way to combat it is to make yourself stronger. Yeah, this one's solid. 100% from the Stoic mindset. Life is hard. The only true control you have is over yourself in your response to things. Strength, whether it's mental, physical, or moral, is resilience. Is from resilience, right? From living in reality. You know, if strength to you means suppressing emotions or denying vulnerability with others, that's kind of hollow toughness. That's just being a tough guy, right? True strength comes from the ability to be honest and compassionate with others from a true place within you and not from this performative place, right? Being a tough guy, right? Deeply helpful, central to the Stoic warrior path. Uh, Number four, you deserve nothing outside of human potential. You can only earn what you have. Yeah, so wake up call against entitlement. That's a good one. Don't be entitled. The Stoics and samurai and all believed effort in effort over expectations. This is not good if it begins to invalidate things like human dignity or self punishment instead of discipline building or growth, right? Pretty helpful because it can help you anchor uh, responsibility, but you have to balance this with some self worth, right? Um, yeah, true. You don't deserve it just because you are, but don't start to think of yourself as undeserving. Number five, struggle is only present to test you. If you fail, you repeat it. If not, you can move on. A warrior sees struggle as a forge of character. You are going to repeat your mistakes until you master the thing in your life that causes you not to make that mistake, right? Spot on. Be careful though, because not all challenges are tests. Sometimes it's just trauma, right? Framing everything in your life as a test can minimize legitimate suffering or your need to actually heal, right? That's why, I will talk about uh, therapy. I've used it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't, stigmatize it. Sometimes we need to heal. Sometimes we need help to be introspective, right? So this idea that struggle is test is always helpful if it helps build resilience, but not at the expense of actual healing or ignoring real traumas, right? Number six, being a male is a birthright. Being a man is defined by your capability. Yeah. Uh, being a real man is being mature and responsible. Those words go hand in hand, not just age or anatomy, right? It's not just that. Um, Samurai, like the Stoics and warriors on this channel, we all agree virtue and competence make you a warrior. But if capability means dominance or suppressing your emotions, this can distort that message, right? Capability includes courage and empathy, right? So this is helpful when capability means integrity, not just your capability to, fight, or your capability to win on the jiu-jitsu mats or whatever. Number 7, being a good man is not nearly as powerful as being good at being a man. Know the difference. I'm a little torn on this one. I've heard this a lot. This is sort of a entry level thing, I think, into some of these conversations and things. But being good at being a man is not the same thing as being a good man, or being a good man is not the same as being good at being a man. Because it's not just men, right? This is warriors, humans, right? So this draws from, and I think he actually might have interviewed Jack Donovan, but this comes from Jack Donovan's The Way of Men, and he's got a whole book about functional masculinity, right? Protecting, providing, leading with strength. I think this is like part of Ryan Mickler's thing, protect, provide, whatever his things are. But when this elevates tribalism, aggression, status over ethically achieving that status, it's not good. So the Stoic path insists that it all coexists, right? Being good and effective. So my verdict on this one is a little, right? Because you need to, being good at being a man is only going to get you there if you practice virtue, right? If you don't have that, well, then you're just performing being good at being good at being a man. You're performing it. You're not truly living it. That's the difference, I think, in being a real warrior. Number 8, no one cares about your problems. Figure out a way to handle them on your own. Sort of that no one's coming to save us, sticker. Personal accountability is a core warrior mindset principle, a core Stoic principle. You can't wait to be rescued. You have to be your own first responder, blah, 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 all that stuff. However, the whole I'm a lone wolf thing, it can lead to emotional repression or self-isolation, right? A warrior is part of a tribe, right? Like samurai were, they had a master, they had someone with them. Viking warriors were together with their people, right? So you share burdens. Strength is collective, not just solitary. Okay. While yes, no one cares about your problems, figure out a way to handle them on your own. You cannot live isolated. So from a self-discipline standpoint, yes, 100%. No one's going to build discipline for you. But if you are floating down this path and not connecting with other people, that's not good for you. That's not good for you. They say being a leader is lonely. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Conversely, good men in your corner don't care about your problems. They care about your solutions. This is this tough love sort of a thing, right? True comrades will challenge you. They'll support you when you do things to fix your situation and not just pity you, right? But the point isn't to dismiss empathy with your friends, right? The real brotherhood listens and guides, right? Stoics like Seneca emphasized friendship as both comfort and correction. Like a real friend will tell you, man, you got broccoli in your teeth, right? They won't tell everyone in the room, hey, he's got broccoli in his teeth. Look at him and laugh at him. They won't do that, right? So from a tough love standpoint, yes. Good men, good people in your corner are useful. They can help you grow if they tell you the things that you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. 10, weak men turn around when they see a challenge. Strong men don't. That's like a straight path to burnout, right? So courage and perseverance define being a warrior, yes. Face your fears head on, like Musashi's accept everything is the way it is. However, it's like the never give up, never quit, like never quit, right? Yes, we should never just give up because we're tired or embarrassed or lazy or whatever. But that's not what never give up means. That's not what never quit means. When you truly must retreat, when you really need to rest, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of others. You need to repair. It's not to ignore that, right? A broken warrior helps no one. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of others. So number 10 is kind of, yeah, like if this helps you build courage, yes, but if it is creating burnout in your life, if you're not recharging, if you're not taking care of what you need to take care of to make sure you're there for others, you're failing, right? That's not helpful. So overall, it's pretty good stuff. Like most things with this, and I know I'm being like super critical here, but it's a great conversation to dig into. So we break these things down. I did this little table here: replaceability, decisiveness, strength, earning, struggle, capability, good at being a man, I guess, self-reliance, brotherhood, challenge. It's 10 like principles. They're all there. Helpful, not helpful. It's all in how you interpret it and how you run it through that filter. That's what people like Ryan Mickler, people like me, hopefully, thank you for tuning in. Others, Coach Divine, Jocko, people like that, they're sort of our guides as they interpret these things in their filters to show us. And that's how we pick things up. Okay, shifting gears a little bit, we're going to delve into some martial arts related stuff and some more masculinity based things that come across my screen here. Let's take a look at this first one.
In their 40s is bragging to you about being a black belt. I'm like,
so this guy's talking about being an older black belt, and I've seen some things, and a couple of people have sent me some things recently about how like it's like a jiu-jitsu particularly where like if you can't still do the technique, are you still a black belt? Which is kind of ridiculous to me because you earned it. So yeah, you are. Like why would we take it away? That's just goofy because of that, right? And it was like I can't remember who they were. I think it was one of the Machados and one of the comments was like they got knocked down and like they're in the chart of like top whatevers because they were older now.
Embarrassed to tell people I'm a black belt because with that belt there comes this expectation. It's almost like a burden. Like you are expected to perform a certain way.
Right, there you go. So he's feeling this push that like, oh, he's the black belt, so he's automatically the leader. And it's sort of like juxtaposition between like, black belt isn't the end, it's just the beginning of learning, but everyone else sees it as the penultimate level, right?
And when your broken ass old body doesn't perform that way, people are like, here's a black belt. You know what I mean? And so like no black belt in their 40s is bragging to you about being a black belt. Like I wish to God I could tell people I'm like a purple belt. I'm like a really good purple belt. Like that's how I feel. Okay. So instant red flag. No black.
Right. Yeah. He's not wrong. I see his point. I feel his point being 50. Yeah. Well, along those lines, I want to talk about this one. A jiu-jitsu friend of mine sent me this one, and we were talking about Hilo Gracie and how forget where I saw that, but he had put on like a blue belt or something like that, and he was doing that because he was like, I'm old and I can't do the things I used to do, so I'm basically the level of a blue belt, even though you're freaking Hilo Gracie, which is ridiculous. With this post here, some people should strip out the black belt off their waist. And the point of this is to talk about what a black belt means, what it really means to me and the world at large. And I kind of broke it down. This I don't know what this is, but what it doesn't mean is it's the pinnacle of your journey, right? It's often emphasized. I've talked about this, that black belt is a new white belt, or now you can start to really learn, right? And sometimes people can like, hey, I got my black belt, I'm now awesome. I've seen it. I've seen students get it, and then you don't see them anymore. But I want to break it down a little bit. Pulled some of these things out, and this is from his, I think he made a first comment or whatever, but key reminders for those who earn their black belt. And I kind of agree with a lot of these. The black belt is not the end, but a new beginning. The black belt should signify the start of a more profound journey rather than the culmination of all your efforts. That is 100% true. In my school, in my dojo, I have an expectation that you teach, that you learn how to communicate what you've personally done to others and help guide them along. That's a big part of what we do, and understanding internally what we're doing and how we then bring others into that fold and help them along. I think that's a real, it was done for me, and I think it's a really great addition to you as being a black belt. Still a student. Achieving a black belt does not automatically make one a coach or a professor. I can't stand that jiu-jitsu black belts are called professors. Anyway, many skilled competitors may lack the ability to teach effectively. It's vital to maintain that student mindset. Couldn't agree more. Lifelong learning, mastery in, this is from a jiu-jitsu post, but whatever, as in life, requires ongoing education. Even after decades in the sport, one should continuously seek improvement. Yes, Kaizen. It's not the end. I say black belt is where you now have a solid grasp of the basics. It couldn't be closer to the truth, because that's exactly what it is. And now you have the requisite degree to now go and experiment and learn. No superiority. The promotion to black belt does not grant divine attributes or superior knowledge. It's essential to remain humble and open to others, regardless of their rank. I've learned from 12-year-old white belts more than I've learned from, 8th degree black belts. I really have. Respect is key. A black belt does not entitle one to treat others with disrespect or indifference. All practitioners deserve respect, and fostering inclusivity is fundamental to the community. 100%. If you don't make beginners feel welcome, they will leave and your art will die. It is no like gateway you have to go through to get to the the secrets of the art or whatever. Avoid exclusivity. Black belts should not create cliques or divide the class. Jiu-Jitsu thrives on camaraderie and mutual support, transcending belt colors. Again, this is a jiu-jitsu guy, but these are just general martial arts things. But yeah, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be things, there should be in my opinion, in a big school, there should be a black belt class or an advanced class, like whatever you want to call it, whatever that demarcation is. In ours, we always had a brown belt and a black belt class, right? Because black belts were they were who they were. They've gone through the thing, and then brown belts were trying to get to the point to go through the thing. So it was kind of good to pair them up so that you had that relationship that they could build on. And usually, if you've gotten to that point, you aren't really just going to quit necessarily. Although I saw a lot of them quit, and it's not in my mind. That's not so much about exclusivity as it is prepping that next level to get there, because you're beginning to seriously consider what it takes to get that black belt in a whatever system that's difficult, right? Ties in the next one. Focus on growth, not promotions. Rather than counting the years until the next promotion or stripe, practitioners should prioritize personal development, a lifestyle that encourages continuous self-improvement and positive influence on others. Yeah, right? So if you just focus on the work, eventually the rewards come, right? That's how it should be. The journey to black belt is about growth, both on and off the mat. Embracing that lifestyle promotes and fosters a better individual and a better community. So whatever it is, it's not just a martial art, it's a path of self-discovery and growth. I think that needs to be emphasized from day one. And I think a lot of times it is overlooked. And I hate to say it, but in the jiu-jitsu world, this is a commentary on jiu-jitsu now, but in that world, it is a lot more overlooked. And I think because there's a lot of sport going on in that world. I see it in sport karate as well, where it's about the sports, about the activity, about the you know the athletic aspects of this thing, and not so much about these things. Now, you can't do those things in the sport world, right? It's a sport. You can, they're underlying, but the whole point of the sport is performance on the mat during the day, during the time, winning the match, and all the things that go up to that point get you there. Yeah, but sport is outcome based, where the traditional martial art is journey based, right? So yeah, it's a good post. I liked it. I like really thinking about that stuff and having that conversation. So thank you. This post from this account, Off the Zone, I've followed them for a while, and then this was directly related to a conversation I've had recently about someone. But this one in particular: when being under or offering platforms to a black belt, reflect on the factors that might prompt you to withdraw your support. If you reply, nothing would prompt me to withdraw my support, then your integrity is at stake, revealing what core values and principles you truly hold or lack. Yeah, so in our little martial arts world of what we practice, there's older, much more respected black belt than me. I would consider him a mentor of mine, and he recently went out and reclaimed a black belt from someone that he had promoted, because in his opinion, that person had, they were, I don't know, they were messing up, right? They were getting in trouble, I think dabbling in some unlawful stuff. And so he went and just said, hey, you don't represent us right now, so this is mine. I'm taking it back. And I've told a couple of people about that, and we talked about it, and they were like, "Oh man, how is he? How can you do that? Like, he has no right to do that or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, he 100% has the right, because you represent all of us that have come before." And I had this conversation with Shakis the other day about me as the sensei in a certain dojo, as the head instructor in a dojo. I have to uphold the standard that we have set for black belts, in that those black belts have gone through something to achieve that. And if someone comes behind them and they haven't met that standard, well, then we just lowered the standard, and the standard that they met now doesn't mean anything. And boy, don't you think they're going to let me hear about it? And they should. They have every right to do that. We can't lower the standards just because we like someone, or think they should, whatever. They have to earn that. They have to make their way through. That is my number one job when it comes to that. And I think that this applies to that. It also applies up the chain, like I'm saying. No leader deserves unconditional love. Commitment is earned through character. If you're hitching your horse to that wagon, and the head person has no integrity or whatever they're doing, yeah, you should, Now, they have the right to correct their behavior, change, grow, expand, just like you do. But it's all a choice. It's all a choice. All right. I want to talk about this. Got into this a little bit with Shakis. That episode should have already gone out. You could find it. If I remember, I'll link it up at the end here. But I'm not going to show the videos. I don't want to go look them up. But there's videos of our leaders sort of broing out, and I have a problem with it. First off, I think I've done this before. If not, I should do it again. But yeah, like this idea of the Murph workout, right? The Michael Murphy, Navy SEAL, who is in that. His movies made about him, documentaries. Mark Wahlberg made a movie about him, Lone Survivor. Anyway, performing that workout and putting it out on the social media to use it to show how awesome you are, or how strong you are, or how successful you are, or whatever it is, using that platform to sort of perform masculinity or perform this warrior culture for social media likes and stuff, to me is kind of gross. And some of our leaders have been doing this, and I don't like it. This guy and Pete Hegseth, whatever. There's a video of them working out with the troops or whatever. And, they're sort of like, we're doing this tough workout. It's like 50 reps, 100 reps or whatever. And, I'm watching it, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, as a coach, I'm like, I haven't seen a real rep yet. Like the pull-ups were sort of like half reps, and the push-ups were definitely half reps. And even Hiller, he does Instagram and YouTube posts about people that don't complete reps all the way, and he made a post about it, and he got kind of skewered in the comments, and I don't think he knew quite what he was stepping into. But I'll say it as well. They weren't really doing the workout. Like, I can't stand that in the gym when it's a CrossFit thing for sure. But like when you've got two people doing a workout, and one person is doing the exercise properly, let's say their squats or push-ups, and they're going full range of motion all the way down, all the way up, squatting perfectly, and it takes them 20 minutes to finish the workout. And you got someone else who's sort of like cheating reps. They're not going all the way down. They're doing those like alligator style push-ups, and it takes them like 14 minutes to do the workout. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really care. You know, you're burning calories, whatever. But when I have a problem is when you then look at the other person and go, hey man, you're kind of slow. Like, or I just killed that workout. I'm awesome. No, you didn't do it properly. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. The other person actually beat you because you didn't do all the repetitions. And that's what some of these guys were doing in their video. But anyway, they've been using this sort of like warrior culture to kind of push their narrative and stuff like that. And it's I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I love this quote. Although this is weird, leftist fitness influencer. That's just fucking dumb. Like, that's just dumb. Right-wing fitness, left-wing fitness. I mean, it's just, it's exhausting. But anyway, this I do love this quote. You're not a warrior. You're not a protector. You're not defending your homeland. You're a guy that lifts weights. 100%, man. Like 100%. But the point of this is, I'll read this here. Though there is nothing inherently right-wing about lifting weights, there's not. Fitness influencers have been at the forefront of the rightward shift of young men in recent years. Exercise content represents a key block of the so-called manosphere. However, a small but rapidly growing subset of progressive gym bros are moving into the online fitness space, and influential figures on the left are taking notice. Yeah. The first comment, the warrior gym bro ethos is exactly as serious as little kids who dress up as princesses. It's just LARPing and make-believe. 100%. 50 replies. I bet he got. Yeah, he's all the anti whatevers. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Disagree. We train gym bros who are cage fighters and soldiers, literally warriors. Cry harder. Anti-fragile fitness. And this is from a guy who's got a podcast called Warrior Mindset. Okay. This is not what it's about. It's not what it's about. It's about all the content I've made up until this date. But the performative aspect is what I'm talking about. You can't perform being a warrior. You have to be a warrior. And it's what burns me up. And all this is performative. Bringing this into the discussion now, this is Tony P. And I love this guy. I have a love-hate relationship with Tony P. I think Tony P is weird. He's weird. If you follow his channel, he's weird. And you'll see some of my comments. He's just weird, but he's not wrong. Let's listen to him.
Means you bring brightness to the world. You are warm, you are kind. Some heroes of mine are Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, LeVar Burton, those type of folks that brought joy to the screen and in real life. And they did it through being warm and through being gentle and through really making you feel like you're the only person in that room and that you matter every second of that time. It's about a feeling. You bring that joy to people. You bring that warmth. You know, with masculinity, a big part of it is service. A big part of the service to others. And people that feel alone, that are isolated, that are in the dark, your job is to make their life brighter.
A lot of us miss out on that aspect of being a man. And the very first part of this, 1 through 10 of the men principles, whatever, none of those had service to others in there. Anyone who's a real life warrior that I know personally, and I mean Navy SEALs, real fighters that care about other people, they understand that Service to others is at the core of what they are. Mark Divine taught me, master yourself, serve others. There's nothing else. Just those two things. Master yourself, serve others. If those aren't at the core, you're just performing virtues. You're just performing them. You're not living them. Okay. So while Tony P's weird, he's right. All right. Somewhere in the middle is this guy right here, this way. This guy. Cole Lewis De Silva, I think is the guy. Somebody sent me this. In our dojo, we have a couple people that are having babies, like anytime now. But one of them sent me this and was like, "Hey, coach, what do you think?" And I kind of agree, and then I kind of don't. So let's just listen.
I will 100% teach my son, beat the shit out of kids who make fun of you. Words do not solve problems. Bullies are not going to stop unless you punch them in the mouth. And anybody who says, use your words and have a conversation has never been bullied. Words do not solve it. If anything, they're just going to call you gay or call you soft or make fun of you more because you want to have a soft conversation. Just punch them in the face and move on with your life.
What do you guys think about that? Take a second. If you're listening to this, if you're on YouTube or whatever, just pause, send me a note. The moment you're listening to this, what do you think? What do you think? His first comment is one he made, I will teach him to have self-control and not be controlled by his emotions. And I will teach him to stand up for himself if others kids bully him. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah, I looked this guy up. He's like a life coach or whatever. Social media personality. He's sitting in front of a boxing ring. I don't know if the guy fights or not. I doubt it. He's certainly got tattoos. I think his story is like he was drug culture or something, and now he's like a fitness influencer and he's mega rich or whatever. I'm sure it's real. Anyway, I'm pooping on the guy, but the video says one thing, but the comment says another. If the actual like thing behind this video is that comment, then yeah. Teach your children self-control and to not be controlled by emotions. I wish adults were like that. And teach them to stand up for themselves if they're being bullied. Yes. But the way it was said in the video, I'll definitely teach my kid to beat the shit out of somebody. Will you? Will you? I will tell you, I went to a very small rural school, elementary and middle, and it was small. And I had a turn at being bullied. I had a turn at being a bully. I had a turn at not doing either one. This is a small school. If you're from small school, public school or private school, whatever, from the 80s and 90s, and you know what I'm talking about. But there was a time where I was bullied by others, and it was just like random. But yeah, we got in some schoolyard fights, and I think that's a big reason why they quit bullying me. I don't know that that's 100% the solution, though, because of the way things are now, and how this stuff is taken. So you have to teach these mindset principles, I think, first and foremost. And we all know that kids learn by watching and internalizing you and what you do. You can tell them everything you want, and then they're never going to do it. But they're going to watch you and they're going to emulate you. So yeah, it just stands to reason. If you're a douchebag, you probably have douchebag parents. It seems to just be the way it might be. I don't know. I agree, and I don't like it. I don't like the delivery. I like the first comment. I've brought this man's content into other podcasts and things, but this Mr. Jason Wilson guy is on Mel Robbins' podcast, which another one I run hot and cold with. I like a good bit of the stuff she does, although she can kind of annoy me. But I love Mr. Jason Wilson, and let's check out what he has to say on this.
Seems, at least I'll speak on my behalf, that the men in my life are either angry in the way they express their emotion or they're silent. Is that pretty typical?
Those are safe. You can't be weak. You can't be soft. You can't be a simp, as they say. If you're just angry, if you're silent, you look stoic now. Oh, he must be strong because nothing ever phases him. And so men, anger is a very safe emotion to express. When our feelings are hurt, we're angry. When we're sad, we're angry. When we lose, we're angry. It's a surface emotion. That's why I tell men to dig deep. What are you really feeling? And I can compare it to masculinity, to the crayon analogy in this book. As men, we stay within the 8 box of crayons, okay?
Yeah.
And we may pull out 4. Women have 64.
That's why we confuse you so much,
but
Jason.
this is interesting. We were created for all of those emotions. They're not exclusive to you. It's there, but we've been hoodwinked by allowing society to define what a man is.
Yeah.
And so when women are communicating with us, they may pull out, I'll use an analogy of the color violet, and all we have is purple. We can't meet the moment. Or even more complex issues, they ask for lime, and we're trying to put green and yellow together.
Yeah, I think you get his point. His point is that these performative masculine things are safe for us men to fall into, to use, to mask, to throw up in front of other things. Just like the one before, talking about, I will teach my son to beat the shit out of whoever bullies him. What if it's a girl bullying your son? What if it's a smaller person bullying your son? What if it's someone they can't beat up? It's not black and white. It's not that simple. You actually need to work on living the lifestyle that will educate your children on how to navigate these things. You don't want to unload your life on your kids. It's not what I'm saying. But you can expose them to things and explanations of how you handle things. You can talk to them. I know that. I've raised 2 young men. Yeah. So you have to work on these things, is what he's talking about. You can't just go through life performing masculinity. You have to go through life and work on yourself. You have to put the time in. You have to. And that's what he's getting at. All right. We're going to end this debrief style episode with a couple of things here. And I've seen a lot of these going around. There's this thing called the women's ick list, like things that give women the ick about men. It's kind of funny. Not all wrong, but this one here by this account, 15 hobbies that secretly make men less attractive. It's kind of funny. But all this stuff we've been talking about today is kind of like masculinity 101 stuff, and then like this list, it's kind of I like looking at this. It's kind of funny, let's be honest. But 15 least attractive hobbies to women. Number 1 is comic books. Number 2, cosplay. Just kind of go hand in hand, I think. Number 3, debating. The debate bro culture. Drinking. I don't know what MTG is. Somebody let me know. Anime, makeup, crypto, clubbing, marijuana, porn, and gambling. So comic books beat marijuana, porn, and gambling, and makeup, and drinking. Yeah, comic books have a porn addiction. We're fried. Oh man, it's just kind of funny. Some of these things. I don't know where the list came from. It's just worth thinking about because comic books, cosplay, debating. I don't know about that one. Drinking, anime, marijuana, porn, and gambling. They're all things that we do to cope with not doing the work of being a man, of being that. This is men and women, but doing the work, right? There's sort of like covers for or escape from not doing those things. I mean, like I'm surprised video games isn't on here, but I mean, I like video games too, and I will tell you the times in my life where I've relied on video games or where I've had the addictive application of video games, hell divers. Usually when I'm kind of coping, when I'm trying to mask or not actually deal with a problem, I kind of float into doing those things. Final one. I don't even know if it's related to anything else, but this actually hits me in a way because this is about pride and arrogance, and I think those two things in a lot of men it's hard for us to set those things aside. It's the ego. It's hard to set aside our pride and our arrogance. This video is, I don't even know who this is, but it's from this football culture. This team got second place, and they're handing out the silver medals, and each one of the people is just taking the silver medals off. Like, no, it's gold or nothing. And I know, like, a championship mindset and all that stuff, right? But it's rude. It's rude to the organization. It's rude to that person. It's pride. That's pride and ego. I mean, you didn't win. You're not first. You didn't get gold. But everything you did up to this point to get silver, respecting second place isn't settling. It's acknowledging the effort, the growth, and the courage to continue with integrity, even when things don't go your way. Yeah. So just leave you with that thought. Watch your pride. Watch your arrogance. Do the work before you need to have done the work. Okay? Yeah. All right, y'all. There you go. Let's all go and get after it.